All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about the pros and cons of working at the dealer. Now, a couple things I want to say. It's important to understand for these young guys going into it, when you go to work for a dealership, you do not work for the manufacturer. You work for that dealership. The guy's name that's on the building, Bubba Joe Bob's Ford dealer, you work for Bubba Joe Bob. You don't work for Ford. So it's important for you to understand that you work for that dealership. Just like if you work for an independent, you work for that independent. So the reason I say that is you work for that shop, but yet you sometimes get paid through that shop by the manufacturer. The manufacturer gives you lots of advantages, and the dealership and manufacturer give you lots of disadvantages. So we're going to go over pluses and the negatives of working for a dealership. All right, again, because I'm a negative person, first we're going to talk about the cons. The big one, warranty pay. Now, if you work at an independent shop or you are in school and you can look up all data Mitchell times, you'll notice that there's two columns. There's warranty, and then there's customer pay, Mitchell time, however they label it, but there'll be two different times. Warranty time is what the dealer techs get paid to do it under warranty. When you are a dealer tech, a car comes in for, say, check engine light, you get paid by the manufacturer to diagnose it, it's this part, you get paid X amount of hours. So whether you can do it in that time or not is irrelevant. That's what you get paid. That can be a real problem when you're a dealer tech and you're just getting hit left and right, warranty pay, warranty pay, warranty pay. You've worked on 15 cars today and you've only billed 4 hours. Whereas one customer pay could have done that in, half the time. So that it is a huge disadvantage. It's also an advantage, but we'll talk about that later. Paperwork. No matter what manufacturer it is, whether it's actual physical paper or forms or whatever, there's going to be a lot of it. And it's really, really important, especially for warranty pay, that you fill out that paperwork exactly how it needs to be done. If you don't, you'll get something called a chargeback. A chargeback is car's already left, you've gotten paid for it, but then all of a sudden on your time card you see negative. That's because you had a chargeback. Basically, the manufacturer said, no, we're not paying for that. So it's really important in the dealership world, dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure all of your paperwork is done correctly. Next one, warranty pay. Let's say there's a recall. You get a car, you get a bunch of them in, you start doing them. Oh man, I'm beating warranty time. I'm doing good on these. The manufacturer finds out about the cheat that everybody in the dealership figured out. Guess what? Your times just got cut. So that happens a lot. If you go through all data Mitchell and go a couple years difference, because Mitchell and all data really don't do a good job of updating the hours, but you go up a couple years and you look up a same repair and it pays less than the previous couple years, it's because the OE figured out they were paying too much, according to them. That's neither here nor there. That's what happens when you work for a dealership. Drama. There's always, or not always, but most of the time there's going to be drama in a dealership. I don't know what it is about dealers, but there seems to be always some sort of drama. There's always that prima donna. There's always that, you know, somebody that raises hell every time something happens. There's also the every tech for himself. Screw you, I'm not helping you. I got to make my own check. Now, it seems in my aftermarket background, it seems to be much more prevalent in the dealership market, but it's only by what I've heard. So again, that's what I've heard. So hey, maybe some of the dealer techs we've got working for, you know, watching this video can chime in and tell us. Team systems and different pay systems, they may be good or bad. A team system, by the way, is where you're basically assigned a group of usually about 4 techs, and everybody basically splits 4 ways what everybody bills. It seems like a good system, except when you got 1 or 2 guys that aren't carrying the load. Then it completely breaks down. Then you've got 2 techs, you know, going at it. They get their check for the week and they're like, I billed 60 hours, but I'm only getting paid 30. How come? Well, those 2 guys didn't do jack. Next one, it's important to mention, but it happens in a lot of larger shops. Favoritism. You know the guy. You know, the joke is, you know, if you can't find him, you know where he is, because he's got his nose up the boss's behind. It does happen. I've actually seen it happen at a shop I worked at, and no, it wasn't me. I was not the one being favored. So it does happen. Something that, you know, in a larger shop, mostly is larger shop, not so much just dealers, but it is something that happens a lot in larger shops. Working Saturdays and Sundays. A lot of dealerships are now open not only Saturdays, but Sundays. Now, you may not have to work every one. You may not have to work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. It all depends on the dealership you work for. But Saturdays are definitely a reality for a dealer tech. Now, a lot of dealer techs are like, I'm all for it. Give me all the Saturdays I can get, because I bill tons of hours on a Saturday. So it's up to you whether you consider it a pro or a con. The last one, you see the same things over and over and over again. Yeah, there might be a little bit of mixture in there, but let's say you're doing a recall and half the cars in the city come to get that recall. Well, you've done that job 50 times. It's gonna get boring. So personally for me, it would drive me nuts. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. That's part of the reason why I prefer working in an independent shop. Next one, and if you remember the last video that I talked about working at an independent, you know, at an independent you can go, yeah, it's got to go to the dealer. At a dealer, you are the last call. There's nobody else other than another dealer that you can send it to. So basically, if it comes to you, you got to fix it. We'll talk about some of the tools in the dealership world that can help you fix those problem jobs. Next ones are noise complaints. That customer just bought a very expensive car from your dealership, and that rattle in the dash, that little squeak, whatever, they're gonna complain about it, and you're gonna have to figure it out. Now, some guys, they love that kind of stuff. They love going in there, putting a little foam here, putting a little foam there, whatever, but you're gonna have to deal with it. The last one, is kind of on the same line, but stupid complaints. This is, you get a RO, it says on it at 43 miles an hour, you know, it hesitates for 2.3 seconds. And I'm sure if you work in independent, you've got some of those weird complaints, but it's a lot more of them at a dealership because they just spent 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, you know, and up thousands of dollars on a new vehicle, and they want to make sure it's perfect, even though it doesn't exist. So you're going to get those customers that even normal operating, everything operating normally, you'll still get complaints. All right, the pros, the good things about working for a dealership. Customer pay, it is extremely easy to make hours. In a dealership environment, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 hours a week in 5 days is not unheard of, not even that uncommon. Remember, you work on the same vehicles over and over and over again. So you can pull that car in, warranty time pays 3 hours. Customer pay, you know, is whatever, and you can do it under warranty time. Well, you're on customer pay, so you're making bank. So it's a lot easier when you see those same vehicles over and over again to make more hours because you're familiar with them. You know all the tricks to get in there to get those cars fixed quickly and as efficiently as you can. Again, we're going back to it, but this time as a pro. Warranty. Why is that a pro? You just said it was a con. When you're slow, warranty time, after all, it's better to bill something than absolutely nothing. So, you know, let's say there's a recall on a bunch of cars on the lot. Well, you got no customer pay. So you go, you know, grab those cars off the lot, do a bunch of recalls on cars on the lot, and next thing you know, your day's not half bad. So it can keep you very busy. Training. This is a big one, and this is a big negative with independent shops. With dealers, you're sent to training as long as the dealer is willing. You're sent to training. You have online training. There's tons of resources to make sure you stay up to date on new vehicles. There's all sorts of bulletins that come out. Internal TSB service bulletins, stuff like that, long before it hits the aftermarket. So you can get a lot of that inside information if you pay attention that, oh, I just read about this the other day. Cool, I just made money. So that's a big thing, is keeping up to date, keeping trained on those new cars. Next one. You get that car that is just, you're pulling your hair out. You can't figure it out. You've got a couple lifelines. You have the tech line. You got a phone, pick up, call. I got this problem. Yes, the first couple questions out of their mouth is going to be stupid stuff that, yeah, you probably already checked. But again, just like warranty pay, you need to check those boxes. But when it comes down to it, you've got a lot of resources with those tech lines. You start talking to them, next thing you know, you're up the level, you're up. Next thing you know, you got a field engineer in your bay helping you figure out that car. So when it comes down to it, you'll probably be able to get that car fixed. So lots of resources for a dealer tech that independent shops do not have. Well, you know, yeah, you can subscribe to Identifix and you can call their tech line, and they are good as far as the tech line, but it's nowhere near as good as the OE tech line, the OE field engineer. So next one, you are guaranteed to have the right tool. As far as a scan tool, you are going to have the OE scan tool available to you. What that means is when you look at a PID, you go to activate something, you know it's going to be as good as the manufacturer can do. It's not going to be pulling out an autel and going, I don't know if this test is going to work, but we're going to try it. Pulling out a snap-on and going, it doesn't even have that test. That's one of the biggest advantages is you have the OE scan tool. The next one is that manufacturer requires that dealership to have a certain level of equipment in the shop. Powertrain lifts, special tools for timing, all sorts of special tools. And almost all of them are auto ship. So let's say, 2017 model comes out, that engine requires 14 different special tools. Guess what? They showed up before the cars do. They're already in the tool room, maybe in a box under something, but they have it. So you're always going to have access to those special tools. You also have the ability to buy scan tools and special tools at a discounted price through the OE, because they want you to have the tools to fix the cars. Now, one disadvantage I didn't mention, but it's really a disadvantage in almost every shop, is those special tools usually wind up in somebody's toolbox, never to be seen of again. So it is what it is as far as that, but you should have the OE tools to work on those cars somewhere in that dealership. So I am the Flat Rate Master. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why. And as always, thanks for watching.